Good evening, everyone. It's really a pleasure to be with you today. My name is Dr. Shannon Bruce Ramaka, and I am the head of the ITESS program that is located in the Netherlands. This is the International Teacher Education of Secondary Schools. And on behalf of my entire faculty, we would really like to thank all the people who made this project possible, and especially all the teachers in Wisconsin. So this picture is a screenshot taken from a meeting that we had in December when we had just gone into a serious lockdown in the Netherlands. And so it was actually a day before our vacation. So we were all singing Christmas carols before we went into the Christmas vacation. But on behalf of the entire staff and faculty and students, really a heartfelt thank you to all the people who've made this possible. And this really is a huge project. So I'm hoping that in this meeting, we're going to be very focused. It's going to be a short meeting, and I'm hoping that I can share with you how huge this project is so you can get a glimpse. Basically, we have 68 students who are attending our university program in the Netherlands, who will be joining virtually in classes in these 3 different school districts. And 19 teachers who are working in Wisconsin in those school districts are going to offer 518 different classes in which the ITESS students will be observing. And all of this was an amazing orchestration. We sent surveys to teachers who might be interested to be mentor teachers. We have been coordinating from the Netherlands side, working with students to create pairings with ITESS supervisors and teams that will be working together. And all of this really couldn't have been possible without Jaspreet and Mary, who have been working hours and hours coordinating this. So I really want to give them a real shout out for the work that they have done. Really amazing. And so this is just a screenshot from one of the documents that they have been working on. And I want to just show you another one. This is another document they've been working on. And so I want to thank also the people who have been working over the last few months to make this project possible. Originally, Rebecca Dahl and I met 10 years ago in an international school in Hungary. And since that time, we've stayed in contact, and she's a part of my team, Visionary Ed, and she and I are always getting involved in different interesting progressive projects in education. But I think this has probably been the biggest and the most interesting, Rebecca. So Rebecca had heard from Dr. Robert Smiley in Wisconsin and said he would like to do something creative in the world with international students. Rebecca reached out to me, and from that time on, this project was born. And actually, it all came about because our program went into lockdown, and we were looking for creative ways that our students could do a practicum experience. So another person who's been important on this team is Frank, who has been available for technology consultation. He will be working next week with our ITESS students to be available to help with any questions you have about the platform you will be using to join in on the calls in Wisconsin. I also need to give a shout out to Mr. Thomas, who has been working with us on our team, and Ms. Roline, who is working from the Innovations Lab at our university. So it's been, and Ms. Delphine, who is an ITESS instructor who has been working with the educational studies team, and maybe you'll hear from her at the end of this, just as a quick hello and a connection. So I am brand new to ITESS and since September, but I would say that from the minute I arrived, I have been thrilled and really proud to be here. It is a very diverse and passionate group of young educators who want to make a difference in the world of education. This picture that you're looking at here is a picture of students in the 2nd year of our program. And the students who will be working in our project today are in the 1st year. And so I'm going to show you a video clip in the next slide that I'm going to show you. one of the other things that makes our program really special is that our students do a practicum every year of a 4-year program. And they go to different international schools around the world, and they take those experiences and reflect on them with teachers in our professional identity course and their subject courses to really help them devise and own their own philosophy of education. We do believe in project-based learning. We have a framework that's based on designing educational project-based learning. And also we incorporate a lot of different activities that we reflect on. And one of the activities that our students will be doing is we hope that they might introduce a new tech tool in one of your lessons. That might be an option that they do. So here's just a very, very short video that we did before we went into lockdown, and you will meet a couple of our first-year students.
My name is Alex Keppers, and I'm a first-year student at ITESS. To me, ITESS is the opportunity to travel the world and work abroad, meet people from different countries and cultures, and work with young people from all over the world. It's my way to contribute to the future. ITESS is task-driven and student-focused and focuses on learning through reflection and giving feedback.
Hello, everybody. I am Eduardo Lo Sasso. I am an Italian ITESS student. I study in the history course. In this first year, I feel that I've learned a lot of things about the profession of teacher. So I'm very happy to be part of this course, which is ITESS.
Okay, so it's really brief, but I'm hoping that you get a little bit of an idea who our students are before you actually meet on and introduce yourselves virtually soon. So this is a little bit of the timeline that we would like to share with you to kind of guide the organization. So today is the first bullet point here where we're meeting virtually as a whole group. And then on Monday and Tuesday of next week, so this January 25th and 26th, our students will be meeting with our ITESS supervisors and to talk more about the logistics of the next 2 weeks, basically to sync all of the documents and the work that we're doing. Then the following 3 days, we suggest that the mentor teacher in Wisconsin send an email to all of their students and invite them to one meeting during the week, during the days of the 26th, 27th, and the 28th. So the reason we're suggesting this is because we know that some mentor teachers have 8 or 9 ITESS students. So in order for them to be efficient, it might be a good approach, might be just to put all of them in an email group and send them an email. Of course, mentor teachers, you can manage that however you want. We're not controlling you on that. It's just we're trying to honor your time and give you a suggestion for how that might be easiest. Then we will begin this online experience on February 1st. And that will run for 2 weeks. And at the end of that time, we're going to send everyone, teachers, supervisors, and student teachers will send you a survey, and we're going to ask you, how was this experience? And if we were to do this again and include something like this in our program, what advice would you give us? And that will be optional as well. So one of the things we've found in the last few weeks as we've been talking together is everyone's a little bit nervous. And I'll have to say I'm a little bit nervous. But we're all a little bit nervous because we all want to do a good job. And we want to know, well, what is that good job? So I want to just tell you really the most important thing is really that you try to enjoy it. You try to enjoy each other and just take this as an interesting learning experience. So what we hope is that our students will be able to jump on all of your different lessons on an online experience, see your classes in action, and they will be actively observing. They will not have their phone anywhere near. They will make sure that they are somehow monitoring their environment so it's not interrupting at all. But our students would like to observe. And then if you can be available to talk with them afterwards using some metacognitive approaches, like what were you thinking as you, the teacher, were designing these lessons, how you built your lesson plan, what were some of the challenges you saw. And one of the things I always think that's so valuable is, you know, in the split second when you have to make a decision about something and you change your mind completely as a teacher. We do that a lot. And I don't know if you've heard this phrase, but actually I heard in my teacher training that teachers make more decisions per day than air traffic controllers. And you think about all the airplanes coming in from all kinds of directions. So as teachers, we always start with a plan because we know that we have the best chance of maybe reaching the needs of a lot of different learners, having powerful learning experiences in the classroom. But wow, do we adapt all the time. And so that's kind of an art and a science. And if you can help our students figure that out in any way, it's wonderful. The other thing I would say is if you can help our students understand what goes into a lesson plan. We teach our students to work with standards. We teach our students to begin with inquiry-based questions, but that process of actually building a lesson plan is a real mystery. And so if you can provide any time after your lessons, anywhere along the way that you can feel like you could just share with our students, that would be wonderful. And also just respond to any questions they have. So our students, I'm in the third bullet now, our students have been researching what would be a tech tool that they think you might be interested in and your students might be interested in. And they would like to either present that to you or to a small group of students or to the class. And our students, this being their first year, they are a little bit nervous. Some of them have never introduced themselves to a classroom before. And so there will be a range of their readiness for that. And we trust that you as a mentor teacher, you will find the right approach for that. And also our students will be flexible to what the needs you have with your classroom. And then I will have to say, on top of all of that, we realize that there's a complexity between teaching in the classroom face-to-face with your students and then having an ITESS student looking in with the camera, right? I've never done that before. I've been a supervisor of high school students, of high school teachers, and then worked at the university, but I have never worked in such a dynamic, can you say, 360 view. So that's going to be challenging, I would think. And probably all of us just need to give each other a lot of grace and breathe. So in addition, we're saying that if it looks like both the mentor teacher and the ITESS student are ready, maybe our students could present a different learning activity or an additional one that might work with something that's going on in your classroom. I feel that the Wisconsin teachers, you can feel free to ask our students to do some research or study on the side about something for them to bring to the class, but that's optional. And then the last one, if you feel that you have students that are struggling in some way, if you're in an online situation, our students might be able to help with that. But our students being virtual and your students being in class, maybe the best thing you can do is to offer your reflections somehow about how you feel as a teacher you might be differentiating or you would hope to differentiate for a certain student. So those are just some ideas. So in the last 2 days, so this would be the 11th and 12th of February, we would ask that the ITESS supervisor, the ITESS student, and then the Wisconsin mentor teacher all meet together in a 30-minute discussion to look for evidence that might support these 4 categories. What has the ITESS student learned about collaboration? and what evidence is there of that? Has the ITESS student shown any intercultural sensitivity? What evidence is there for that? So our ITESS students will be involved in a course called Educational Studies, in which they do a lot of reflection in a writing journal. So some of their learning, you might not be, you might not see, you might not even talk about, but our students might be learning some things on their own with their peers or with an ITESS teacher. So there's a lot going on. Even though it might look like you're just giving the opportunity for our students to join in. I think that was really a quick presentation, and we'd like to be available to answer any questions that you might have. I know that I have Miss Delphine, who is one of our educational study coaches, and I'm wondering, Delphine, if you're still there, if you would unmute yourself and feel free to introduce yourself.
Yes, great. Thank you, Shannon. And I want to start like I did in the last meeting to really warmly thank all the Wisconsin teachers, because I know it's a very difficult time for all of us. And really, we're so grateful at ITESS, absolutely all of us, that you offer us this opportunity to observe you, to work with you. We're all very excited and a bit nervous as well, but really mostly excited. So thank you so much again for giving us this opportunity. And everything that we can do on our end, like the supervisors, for example, to facilitate what you're doing, please let us know. We'll be as available as possible during these 2 weeks to support you, to answer your questions, and to also be supporting our students who will be observing, who will be reflecting with us. And yes, so thank you so much. And I'm looking forward to meeting a few of you, because I'm supervising a few students. So I sent an email already to 2 teachers, and I will meet you next week, I think.
Great. Thank you, Ms. Delphine. So we had planned to ask you to put all of your questions, if you have any, in the chat box, so that we can collect any of those questions, compile them, and reply in a PDF. So if you have any questions now, would you please do that? And if you want to stay on the line, I can share a few more things with you while you're doing that. So we have this slideshow presentation that we will send out to everyone. It includes that one little video that you saw, but it also includes another longer video that's about 8 minutes at the end that I saved as kind of an appendix to this presentation. And recently, we had our 3rd year students who have completed the 3rd year of our program. They did their internship of 8 to 10 weeks, and they traveled to Germany, one stayed in the Netherlands, and the other went to Turkey. And when they went off to do their internships, they thought that they would all be in person. And several of them were moved to a remote learning experience. And then one of them was moved into a hybrid situation where some students were in the classroom and then some were online. And so I met with them on January the 11th to ask them, how was this experience that they had? And I asked them if it was a valuable experience to be in an online teacher training experience. And the feedback they said was that it was a great experience. They also said that they felt like they were actually offering classroom teachers some support, because they had done some research about tools, and they felt that in that remote learning environment, they were able to be supportive. So that video is at the end of that slideshow presentation, and it is longer, of 8 minutes, but I think you would enjoy it, because a lot of us in the world of education right now are really curious about whether this remote learning experience is valuable and what can we do that is valuable. So this really is a huge experiment. You know, we're saying, can we learn anything about teaching by dropping in on cameras and live cameras and seeing and reflecting with you? So if this comes to be a practice that is interesting, you've just allowed 68 students a really rich practicum experience. So yeah, I hope that you would enjoy that video. And if you do like it, there is an hour-long version of that video, and I would be happy to share that with you as well. So I did take a little screenshot of all of you, and we have 2 other screenshots from the others. And so we think that we've had about 100 people join online today. Is that right, Mary? Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Great. So I will say one question that came up in our last session was this idea of initiating meetings and organizing yourself. And so if anyone has a question about that, please feel free.
I also just wanted to mention, Jaspreet and I have been coordinating the connections between the ITESS students and the mentor teachers. And I have shared with all of the mentor teachers now, before this meeting began, the contact information, which includes that of the university supervisor and their groupings of students. So if anyone can't access that document, if any of the mentor teachers can't, please reach out to me. Also within that document, there's contact information for me, for Jaspreet, and for Dr. Shannon. If anyone has any questions specifically for us, please feel free to reach out.
Great. So in that document, you should find all your contact information. That's the point of that, to try to bring everyone together. So is anyone excited about this project? Give me a thumbs up, please. Yeah? Yeah? If anyone is nervous or has a question? Yeah? No? Okay, well, that is exciting. I saw a lot of thumbs up. So, ooh, I like the ones on the screen too. Thank you so much. I think when we began this project, it was just a creative idea, and we just went with it, and we didn't know how big it could be. But when you see everybody like this today, it really is great. And I'm genuinely touched by the commitment you have just to education. These people around the world that you don't even know, a program that you don't even know, and just everyone being willing to take the risk, to try something new, to learn something new. To me, this is the entire spirit of education. So hats off to all of you. You're all either great educators as it is, or you're gonna be great educators. I just know it. So thank you, everybody. And I hope you have a great evening. And Mary, do we have any questions in the chat box?
There are a couple there. I think Jaspreet's gonna talk about that.
Okay, go Jaspreet.
Okay, hi, I'm Jaspreet. What we were going to do is we were going to collect the questions and then distribute a frequently asked questions document next week. That way you have that to refer to. But one question that I did already answer for the Wisconsin teachers were asking, what platform will the students use? And our students will use the platform that is preferred in Wisconsin, whatever links that you're currently using. And I believe Mary is working with our tech team here in Groningen to test all the links. So so if you're using Google Meet, if you're using Zoom, our students will have access and they'll use the platform there. And if Mary, if you could maybe answer the question of Kevin, who is wondering if he's out sick or if the students are out sick, if they'll get to make up the day.
I think what we would plan on doing for now is, if you have a substitute that they could observe, they would continue the schedule or the plan as scheduled. And then if you wanted to make up something with them later, that might be something we could work out through the university. But for now, it's the 10 days. Hopefully everyone stays healthy and we maximize that time. Even if it's with a substitute, that's a good experience for them too.
Okay, great. And Mary, one more question, and actually a lot of our students here in Groningen, and we've been online for a while, and we're probably going to be online for quite some time more. So they're actually wondering, what is the situation in the different school boards in Wisconsin? Are you completely in person? Are you hybrid? Is it completely remote in some schools?
So for this project, we're working with 2 different schools, Pius the 11th High School, which is grades 9 through 12. They are in person. There's also a hybrid component there. And that's something that the ITESS students can talk about with their mentor teachers a little bit more specifically what their day-to-day looks like. In the school district of Janesville, our middle school and high school just returned to face-to-face this week. So middle school is face-to-face every day. High school, the class sizes are a lot smaller because we have alternating AB days. So they might see a lot, it might feel a little repetitive because the teachers are giving that lesson twice to meet the whole group. So again, that's a really good conversation for the ITESS students and their mentor teachers to know what each person's day-to-day is like.
Okay. I think that was all the questions so far, but if what we can do here, if people have questions or they're shy about it being in front of people, we can keep maybe the video running for a bit and people can maybe just include their questions. We won't answer, but we'll include that into our frequently asked questions document that we distribute next week. Even if you have a question that you think was already answered, it'd be great to give us some content for the frequently asked questions. Yeah, and I'll give it back to you, Shannon.
Okay, well, I really can't think of anything else. Thank you for your time this evening or this morning. We're really excited. And thank you for everyone's collaboration. I think this is a great definition of global collaboration and integration of technology. So if any of you have any connections with CNN, I think we should do an interview there. Just saying, okay? All right. Good luck to everyone and bon courage. So,
thank you all. Very nice to see everyone's faces. And if you would like to stay on after to ask some questions, I can stay on for a little while longer, but you're free to go if you need to.
Okay, great. Thank you, everyone.
Okay. Okay, as it's dwindling down, I don't know, let's see, let me take a look here.
Yeah, it's good. We didn't get too many questions, so I guess we're extremely clear. Our students and teachers are extremely